Public speaking. You know, for a lot of us, just hearing those two words is enough to make our palms start sweating. It's always ranked as one of our biggest fears, seriously, right up there with heights and spiders. But what if I told you that public speaking isn't some terrifying ordeal you just have to survive? What if it's actually a skill, a really powerful one that, believe it or not, anyone can learn and even master? In this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how. And we've all been there, right? The moment you step up in front of an audience, your heart starts pounding like a drum solo, your hands get all clammy, and all those brilliant words you practiced, yeah, they suddenly vanish. This isn't just you. This is a totally universal human thing. And just admitting that, just acknowledging that feeling, well, that's the very first step to taming it. So here's a little secret that all the great speakers know. They weren't born with some special public speaking gene. Nope. The real difference between a confident speaker and a nervous one isn't magic. It's not some innate talent. It all comes down to three things: preparation, having a clear structure, and practice. Think of it like building with Legos. It's a skill, and we're about to show you all the pieces. Okay, so before we start building, we gotta understand the ground we're building on. To really conquer our fear of the stage, we first have to get a handle on where it even comes from. It's not just random nerves. There's a real, deep-seated reason we feel so anxious when all those eyes are on us. So let's pull back the curtain on stage fright. Do any of these sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. Our minds are just incredible at creating these worst-case scenarios, aren't they? We imagine the audience as this panel of super harsh judges before we've even said hello. This inner voice, this self-talk, is literally the fuel for our anxiety. And here's why that happens. This fear is deeply wired into us. I mean, biologically. Our brain sees us standing alone in front of a group and flags it as a huge social risk. We're terrified of being judged, of being cast out. It's this primal protective instinct that was, super helpful for our ancestors, but maybe a little bit outdated for a business presentation. Now, here's a perspective shift that can change absolutely everything. Your audience is not your enemy. They are not sitting there hoping you'll mess up. Think about it. They showed up to learn something, to be inspired, or just to be entertained. They are on your side. They are rooting for you. Once you really, truly let that sink in, you'll feel that pressure start to melt away. All right, now that we made friends with the audience, let's build our defense against that feeling of chaos and anxiety. And the single best weapon you have is structure. A clear plan is your roadmap, and it gives your audience a really easy path to follow. So let's build that blueprint together. Every great speech, from a viral TED Talk to a simple team update, follows this simple 3-act structure. It's super powerful. Think of it like you're taking your audience on a journey. You need a compelling start to get them interested, a valuable middle part to keep them hooked, and a memorable ending that makes them glad they came along. Listen, the first 30 seconds of your speech are everything. A weak opening is like a boring movie trailer. It just makes people mentally check out. But a strong opening, maybe with a surprising fact or a challenging question, immediately makes the audience lean in. It sparks their curiosity and makes them need to know what you're going to say next. So, how do you actually create that strong start? Well, here are 3 proven tools you can put in your toolkit right now. Kick things off with a question that makes them think, a fact that makes them go, whoa, or a short story that connects with them on an emotional level. Just pick one, and you're already off to a much better start. And speaking of stories, let's talk about maybe the most powerful communication tool we have as humans, storytelling. We are literally wired to remember stories way better than dry facts or bullet points. A good story makes your message relatable, it feels authentic, and it builds this invisible bridge of trust between you and your audience. As we move into the body of your speech, the middle part, I want you to remember one magic number: 3. Seriously, one of the biggest mistakes speakers make is trying to cram in way too much information. Just limit yourself to 3 main points. It's clean, it's focused, and most importantly, it's so much easier for your audience to follow and actually remember later. Okay, we've structured what you're going to say. Now, let's zoom in on how you're going to say it. Your delivery, your body language, your voice, it's just as important as your words. So this is your toolkit for projecting confidence even when you're not quite feeling it on the inside. Your body communicates before you even open your mouth. Standing tall projects authority. Using open, natural gestures shows you're comfortable and relaxed, but crossing your arms, that immediately creates a barrier. These little physical adjustments make a huge psychological difference for both you and your audience. Here's a super simple technique that can completely transform your speech. Make eye contact. When you actually scan the room and connect with different people, you're not just talking at them, you're talking with them. It makes each person feel seen and included, and it turns a passive audience into active, engaged participants. It's a game changer. Look, nerves are normal. Even the most seasoned, professional speakers feel them. The goal isn't to get rid of your nerves completely, but to manage them. Before you go on, just take a few slow, deep breaths. It's amazing how this simple act can calm your whole nervous system. And always remember, your best defense against anxiety is knowing you are completely prepared. Now let's talk about your voice. When we get nervous, we tend to speed up. But a confident speaker controls the pace. When you slow down, it gives your words weight and importance. And please, don't be afraid of the pause. A well-placed moment of silence can be more powerful than any word. It grabs everyone's attention and gives them a second to really digest what you just said. Here's a thought that I hope is liberating for you. You do not need to use complex jargon or big, fancy words to impress people. In fact, that usually does the opposite. The most powerful speakers use simple, clear language that everybody can understand. Your number one goal is just clarity. Be understood. So we've covered structure and we've covered delivery, but none of it really matters without this final critical piece. Knowing all this stuff is one thing, but turning that knowledge into a real confidence skill, that takes practice. Not just any practice, but focused, intentional practice. So, how should you practice? Well, start with a mirror so you can watch your body language. Then record yourself on your phone. I know, it might feel a little cringy at first, but hearing yourself is the absolute best way to catch if you're talking too fast or using awkward phrases. And finally, do a dress rehearsal for a few trusted friends. It's the perfect way to get comfortable with speaking in front of actual people. Now, the most important point about practice is this. It is not about memorizing a script word for word. That's a trap. It almost always leads to a stiff, robotic delivery. The real goal is to get so comfortable with the flow of your ideas that you can talk about them naturally, like you're just having a conversation. Okay, as we start to wrap up here, let's just zoom out for a minute. Learning to speak in public isn't just about getting through your next presentation. It's about unlocking a fundamental part of your own potential. It is a skill that can genuinely transform your career, your ability to influence people, and maybe even your life. If there's one final takeaway I want to leave you with, it's this. Please, let go of the need to be perfect. Your first speech is not going to be your best one, and that is totally okay. Confidence isn't where you start, it's what you get at the end. It's the reward you earn from showing up, preparing well, and getting that experience one speech at a time. Every single time you speak, you have an opportunity to share an idea, to inspire someone to act, to make a real connection. The techniques we've covered today are just the tools to help you do that effectively. So really, the only question left is, what are you going to do with that power? I can't wait to see what you create.